Hello. And welcome to High Rollers Dead Reckoning. With me, your Dungeon Master, Mark Sherlock Holmes.
The music really matches.
It does.
You should be smoking.
Joining me this week, Chris Trott.
Hello.
Katie Morrison.
Hello.
Tom Hazel.
Greetings.
2 L's.
It's important.
And Kim Richards.
Hi.
Joining us for another adventure in Thay. Hello, welcome to High Rollers. It's been a long day of recording.
You mean new session?
New set, that's it. We're in chat, Kim. They know it's pre-recorded, but unedited.
Unedited. Some people have been like, but how are you here while there? And I say this while trying to hide my
There are
T-shirt
multiple
collar.
planes.
It's like even, yeah, why do we put the effort of changing the I mean, it's like a little thing.
Well, you don't
I
want to
haven't.
appear for
Yeah,
like 4
that's it.
episodes in one shirt and
That's
then
true.
another one.
It's an illusion.
I changed my
Anyway.
lipstick as well.
I mean, I've been wearing the same
It's
shirt.
actually really nice. I think.
I'd have been doing that
Tom
anyway,
just doesn't
so...
change.
Tom
Welcome.
has 5 purple shirts that he has rotated
I mean,
throughout.
that is something I would expect, though. I would
One
expect it to have
burgundy
more than one.
If I'm not wearing a purple shirt, there's something wrong with me.
Welcome to twitch.tv/D&D. This is our new villainous mini-series we're doing here. It's my take on a prequel to the Tomb of Annihilation with a bunch of people who are suffering the effects of the death curse, trying to figure out who might be responsible. Could it be those crafty wizards in Thay? You know the answer's not, but they don't. Your characters, I mean.
Yeah.
We know exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
So dumb.
I don't...
Role-playing.
Did you?
I thought maybe Sir Chirac just nicked it from someone.
Maybe he did.
Like he just got the idea from someone else.
Maybe he did.
He didn't, did he?
Mark made the whole story.
Welcome.
I'm just gonna
as
kill
always,
myself right now.
As always, there is tons of awesome D&D content here on twitch.tv/DND all throughout the week. Loads of great stuff you can watch. Check it out in the schedule list below. You can follow us on...
At High Rollers D&D on Twitter. I wasn't prepared.
That's fine.
We've
If you
also
want
got
all
High
the
Rollers
information
D&D
stuff.
on Facebook.
No, it's D&D High Rollers on Facebook because somebody stole it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, mate.
So there you go. Brief recap on what's been going on. The party is a group of infamous or villainous characters that have been sent to the Kingdom of Thay, the continent of Thay, to investigate who is responsible for a mysterious death curse. They've all been sent there, being promised help with various personal issues that may be ongoing. They are also all dying themselves, and so will have a death curse effect
aren't we
ongoing.
all?
Are we all?
Sooner than some.
Sooner than some. The party have been exploring the city of Byzantur, port city in Thay, in the aim to kind of make a name for themselves, acquire assistance, and generally get themselves in the good book of some of the higher-ups so they can begin to unravel the various plots and things that might be going on. Along the way, they've made various allies and met various people, and most recently, they helped defend a young autarch, a noble, from an assassination attempt as they were hired as bodyguards.
Pretty brutal fight.
Pretty brutal fight in the House of Pain at the Temple to Lovatar,
Best place for...
which was, kind of got a bit weird because
A little bit.
I hadn't really planned as much for that temple.
So that was all
perhaps
you.
Tom
That's all came out of
was
Mark.
needing me to provide on the fly. There's a difference, Mark. You have Mark, and then Mark who has to just pull shit out of all the various pop culture
just worries
and
me.
books
It
and
worries me that you
movies.
pulled all of that
Yeah,
stuff
what
out.
pop
though.
culture were you
was-
reading?
Yeah.
Like, what fantasy novels? They have all that weird shit in it all the time.
All
You
the
fucking
whipping
Game of
and-
Thrones, like Bruce, what's his name? Bolton Boy?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
knowing
You don't read Game
Flayed
of Thrones
Man.
though. You hate it.
I've
Yeah,
seen
but-
enough of the show.
knowing
And other
that-
fantasy books have stuff like that.
It still
knowing
came
that you
from
were
your head.
bullshitting though, it didn't seem like you were.
You seemed invested.
You
Yeah.
seemed
It
pretty
seemed like you knew.
That's just testament to your fantastic DM skills, Mark.
It's definitely nothing to do with my personal. No, it really isn't.
He's got
And
my
you're a
maiden at
brony
home.
too.
Uh,
Just wondering how
I
to
can
put it.
use that term. You can't use that term. So don't say that, okay, please. I like the comics and I like some of the series, but I'm not a brony.
I have all the original My Little Pony. So,
That makes you worse.
Yeah.
Right, enough of this
me.
idle
Vintage.
chit chatter.
Should we do a quick character
Sure.
sentence?
Gives me more time to think about what we're going to do today.
I am Taran Newgard. I am a big, tall, plate-cladded man. Human paladin, oath of conquest. My god is Tempus. I am different from the average paladin in the sense that I don't give a shit about most things, apart from Tempus.
And conquest.
I seek glory in battle. I have a sword called Grief, and it wails like a Nazgul.
Lots of damage output. Hasn't proved that he can take much damage so far.
Bad luck.
Bad luck.
Bad luck. You have taken like some pretty heavy blows. So.
Yeah.
In the House of Pain.
I'm playing Malice, who is a half drow, and she's a monk, a Way of the Long Death monk, though, so she's kind of got a little bit of a weirder, more evil kind of monk abilities. She was killed in her past by the drow family that she served. She was a slave because she is a half drow. She was enslaved by them. She killed the house leader and has since escaped. And yeah, she's had a bit of a shit life, but she's cool and has fan weapons now with blades.
Woo, makes up for it all. Yay!
My name is Tolshank Orborn, devout follower of Lovatar.
Newly devoted.
In the last 4 hours.
What is it with your characters?
I know, I was about to say,
becoming
Bahuma.
suddenly obsessed with gods.
He's not a follower of it. He is
We'll see.
a deep gnome mastermind rogue who loves kneecap smashing, and he recently got his fix.
Yeah. I mean, you love kneecap smashing.
Yeah.
So does Lovatar. Just saying.
Maybe I am a devout follower then. Maybe I follow all of their procedures and everything, but without actually just all the praying.
Do they really do rituals that permanently impair your movement?
I mean, they are. Lovatar is all about giving pain and there's some weird stuff about pain, about how pain
So
can be good and
got a
bad.
paladin on standby to just fix a broken leg.
Yeah, clerics. But
Yeah, deep gnome mastermind rogue.
I don't want to do the joke this time.
I do.
No, I'll let Tom do it.
What's your name?
I am worthless.
Yeah, but what's your character's name?
He just nicked it from you.
Oh, that's my one chance.
I took it.
Shit.
Anyway,
I might just write out a card and just hold it up. My character's name is Worthless, and she is a fallen Arsema, a blood hunter of the ghost slaying order. And she. What else? I've forgotten everything about her. Wow.
She
Long day.
She had a husband and a kid. She's not sure what
Well,
happened
not
to them.
husband.
Well, lover.
A lover.
Olivia.
But he
a
was
rival
from
tribe.
a rival.
Not tribe.
Well,
Right.
he was from a cult, and you were devoted to a thing.
A happy, nice god.
Yeah.
And then I thought that the happy, nice god was a bit of a dick, and then went over to the dark side. And as punishment, they took my baby from me and executed me, and I don't know where they are, and I've gone crazy.
Play Evanescence while Kim's talking about all that.
No,
Wake me up! That's the
no, I think it's more like My Chemical Romance.
Yeah, I don't know their
I'm
songs.
not okay.
Millennials.
Too
I'm older
modern.
than you.
But yet you listen to a younger emo band.
We're all
how does that
millennials.
work? I'm not.
Yeah, we are. We all are.
Anyway.
Millennials in this blessed day.
I don't know My Chemical Romance.
She likes helping the broken and the damned. Her father actually took her into the city to see a marching band.
This means nothing to me. But I'm
My
guessing it's a My Chemical
Chemical
He
Romance.
said, son, when you grow
Don't.
up,
Right. Enough.
Would
of that.
you be?
The savior of the broken.
the beaten or the damned.
So.
Anyway.
We start today's session. You guys had just foiled an assassination attempt at the House of Pain.
What just happened? I missed
High
it.
five to
I'm
Kim
so
and
sorry.
Stacey.
I'm sorry, Wizards of the Coast. I'm sorry,
sorry,
audience.
Greg.
Shit show. Can
I'm
we
sorry,
restart?
everyone.
I feel like I just need to say sorry, Greg.
I'm just sorry. I'm sorry, everyone.
Sorry, Greg.
I'm sorry, Chris. I'm sorry.
to
I'm sorry,
apologise to
Trevor.
Can we start this episode?
I would fucking like to. Yes. Funny that.
Hi.
You begin
Please follow
in the
us on
Temple of
Hyrule.
Lovatar, the House of Pain, after just foiling an assassination attempt.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And I believe Malice
I
wanted to
search
check
the-
a room
yeah.
where the assassins had come from.
Yeah.
Didn't we put the
one
body
that
of
we were
one of them
hiding
in there?
I think I put it in.
I don't think we properly looked at the room though.
Yeah.
Like I want to see if there's any sort of clues as to
What they do.
where
who
they
they're
come from, anything about them. Or,
When you make your way inside, the only thing you can find are 2 vials, empty potion vials.
Can I sniff them and see if I know what it is? Was it probably the poison that it might be the poison?
You don't
they
know.
dipped in?
You can make a nature check to see if it was a poison.
That was a slow roll.
It's just kept rolling around.
Ew.
You're not sure. Not sure what it could have been. Some sort of liquid.
Good.
Barely any drops left. Doesn't smell acidic or anything like that.
I picked up the autarch, didn't I?
Yes. You currently have him like.
We found a load of weapons on the assassins as well, so
Yeah, they had
I think they
blades.
had coatings of poison on them. Because I was poisoned in combat. So,
They
They did utilise poison.
in this house of pain, could I speak to someone about getting my cuts and bruises, my many cuts and bruises from this fight, balmed? Because I know they balm.
Oh yeah, they'll. So looking at if you have like fresh cuts and stuff, they don't heal you, but they do apply a soothing balm. In fact, it is the Covis, Pain Lord Covis.
My favourite.
Big lord.
She comes up and she's just like, I see you've gone through much pain in this battle.
Yes, I have.
Rubs your arms down.
Thank you.
Shall we get?
And she looks over at the body now that she's now inspecting. She sees the kneecaps. Your work?
It was indeed. I tried the hamstring trick actually.
How did you find it?
It was, it was okay. I'm going to be honest. You should definitely try the kneecap thing though.
I have broken some kneecaps in my time.
You're my kind of woman.
Did you see what I did upstairs then?
She examines the rest of the bodies. The death part, she's not about. She's not about death. She's just like, we can... one of the bodies you've actually hidden, so I'm guessing it was that one that she dragged into the room. But she drags them out. We will have these bodies will likely be given to the necromancers.
So you do have a way of
interesting.
disposing of them, I suppose.
Well, they will be turned into guards, or they will be used as labour.
They won't have any recollection of us when they turn into guards, will they?
No, they're undead. They don't think.
Good to know.
They're. It is like having a walking corpse. They're animated by magic. They have no semblance of their personality left.
Okay, good to know.
They barely had one to begin with.
Well, we will dispose of these. Obviously, you have the temple's gratitude for dealing with individuals that sought to attack one of our patrons, and you also protected members of my faith. I'm afraid that there is not much I can offer you, but if there is anything I can be of assistance with,
I'd like to ask
if
you.
there's information you require, or
I'd like to ask you about the Temple of Shah.
Shah, yes, she is the goddess of night. She is often a patron to thieves, those who go about their work at night. I imagine that the Guild of Assassins operates quite closely with them. I'm assuming that is who these individuals were sent by, of course. They were very deliberate not to harm any of my people downstairs. They merely threatened and prevented us from getting upstairs.
So this wasn't an attack of Shah against.
They only wanted the altar. They offered us the chance.
I imagine
to
that
leave.
the actual church of Shah was not involved, that these are merely worshippers of her.
They
good
didn't
to
want
know.
any collateral damage, so to speak.
They didn't care.
The guild
left.
the guild is very precise with their dealings. Many of the autarchs and the red wizards employ their uses within the city, eliminating rivals, dealing
Red
with
wizards,
competition.
huh? Is there much rivalry between red wizards and the nobles?
There is some. The red wizards ultimately have authority over all matters, but I know that they tend to be very focused on their work, their magical studies and things.
How much do you know of this one on my shoulder?
The Malark, I believe I told you previously.
You seem to share a kinship.
Well, he is a devout follower of Lovitar. He has been coming to us for years now. We consider him a great patron. He has funded many of the furnishings here.
Does he have many enemies?
All autarchs have many enemies. He can almost consider any autarch who is young and upcoming, who wishes to seize power or favour with the Tharkiones, would consider him to be a rival.
Has he ever had attacks like this in the past?
He seemed to
She
expect
thinks. No, but I know that he has become much more cautious of late. He had a dispute with someone, I do not know who. He had a dispute with someone and then found that many of his guards they were requisitioned by the army and were sent on to another city. He has had trouble finding replacements ever since.
Ah. So
Right.
someone was trying to get rid of his bodyguards.
I believe that would appear the case. I do not think that they expected he would have anybody of any skill by this evening, likely why they attacked him here.
Wow.
Interesting. Thank you for your help.
Yeah, okay. Knowing that that Shah and the assassins are thieves, could I go up into the room that they came from and look around with thieves' cant?
There is no markings or written thieves' cant,
Fair enough.
sadly. It looks more like you suspect that the room that they were in they used as an entry point.
Shall we take him back to his home?
Yes.
And then when he awakens, we can talk to him further.
Does anyone know how long it will take for him to wake up?
You don't know.
He'll be safe at home.
Well, let's stick him in that carriage of his and then...
I'm sure there's plenty of spare rooms we could stay in.
I've got a particular key I want to put to use.
Interesting. Let's do it before he wakes up.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm going to carry him downstairs and out.
Okay, you guys make your way out. The carriage is actually not there. It is nowhere to be seen.
How long did it take us to get here
You're
from...
carrying it.
Like not too long, like maybe 30, 40 minutes.
Oh.
Ulrich?
No.
He looks at you, wide-eyed. Yes,
You held grief for a time.
yes.
This
Do you
is...
need me to carry the sword again?
Oh, no.
You are not letting him carry that.
Not letting him, I'm making him.
He's smaller than the body.
He like takes him a bit, but he has rested a bit, and you can see that he kind of hefts the autarch, kind of puts him over his shoulder. He's a dwarf, so he's still pretty sturdy. Very well.
Taryn,
What?
stop it.
Stop what?
Stop using your
Make-
slave.
Oh, for the purpose that he is?
Yes.
I've just been in battle. Ulrich was doing nothing while we all risked our lives protecting this
Ulrich saved you.
He bandaged
worthless
you.
me. Ulrich, give me the body back.
Thank you.
If I may speak freely, Master,
Go on.
it will be quite strange for you to carry a body through the streets if I am next to you. It would be more expected. I appreciate what you are
Could you
saying.
carry the
It-
lighter sword for him?
It will make more sense for me to carry this. It is not too bad. I have rested well.
Well, it seems like we can't argue with him.
Ulrich.
He looks at you, Malice, and there is a look of like, he doesn't quite mouth thanks, but there's a look of like, this is gonna keep us all alive. Like,
Okay.
I know what I'm talking about, kind of thing.
I suppose he must have a very big idea that we are not doing things necessarily by the book. If he's...
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
He knew that like,
Yep.
from the
when you
first
bought
moment.
him, he knew that. As soon as he actually healed his disease, he was like, okay. He knows that you're foreigners. You're clearly foreigners as well.
And I always mean well.
I don't think he knows that.
Alright,
Excuse me.
let's make our way
Okay,
back.
you guys make your way back to the Autarch's house. What was his name? I've got it here somewhere.
Dalaran Malrak.
Doran Malrak. You make your way back to Malrak's estate. You can see that there are still some undead guards outside, but they don't seem to register to you going up to the property. The key you have is not a front door key, so you have to basically knock. The servants come up, like peer through, open up the doors and look at the unconscious master, and they just don't really say anything. They just kind of stumble back, bow their heads. A few of them skitter off to go and prepare.
Can you take him?
Yeah, like 3 of them come up and take them off Ulrich and begin dragging him away.
He will awaken at some point. He is only under a sleep spell. He's not been hurt and injured in any way. We have fulfilled our duty as bodyguards.
Could
They just nod.
I say we are worried that they may have taken the key off him when he was asleep. Can I go and inspect the jewelry cabinet, please?
So she looks at you, and she looks at Taryn, who's been speaking to her, and she's like, should I awaken Mistress Val-rax?
Oh, she is here.
Yes.
Oh, he has a wife.
Yes, she is asleep, but if we were
What?
to...
It's late, is it not?
It is late. It's
We
like
will
11
not.
o'clock.
We will not awaken her until the morning.
I'll just make sure they haven't come back here to take
Seen
his...
any tampering with the? What are you doing?
In my microphone.
He's just going to make sure it's not been tampered with.
Very well.
Very quick, in and out.
She's the one that recognised you from before, so she's just like, I know that you were employed, so yes.
And he's been brought back safely. You can check his pulse.
No, they're already taking him away.
You can trust us.
Very well.
Toll, make it quick.
So which way was it again?
She leads you down into the main foyer, and there is a kind of large cabinet, like glass cabinet at the base of the stairs. You don't suspect it's all the jewelry, it's just a few select pieces that he was wearing at the time.
Has
three
she seen
three
that it's
rings
full?
and a necklace.
Has she seen that it's full?
I mean, yeah, like if she's leading you to it, or would you like dismiss her? Like, what do you want?
I was going to say, I need to investigate this space. I need a clear head. Just please leave me alone tonight. I just need to investigate, see if anyone's come in here.
She like looks
So,
at you and she stands away from you, but she's watching you.
Can I want to block her vision from the lock and just quietly sort of unlock it and just like peel it open like, this is open.
Sleight of hand.
King. Oh, that's in. Easy. 28.
Like, she just doesn't really say anything. She's just kind of watching you.
It's open. I need to see if anyone else, I need to see if there's any tracks. Can you please leave the room while I...
Really?
She like shakes her head. She's like,
Untampered.
I can't. No, I can't. I must.
Look, up there, by the window.
Oh my god.
I think that window's open. Can you just check that for me real quick?
Deception check.
That's so dumb. Deception, that's 22.
Yeah, she looks over, and she walks over to it with a kind of. It's not open, and she like jangles with it, like shakes it. So he grabs. There's 3 rings and a necklace, basically.
Unbelievable.
She like
Taking it
turns
all.
around. She's like, the window wasn't open. It's locked.
And there must have been some other way you got in. Let me just check the front door. You must have come in through there. Unless you saw anything. This is very important.
No, the front door hasn't been disturbed until you and the others arrived.
Can't believe it. I don't know how he got away from us.
She just looks at you in bamboozlement. Like this slave woman is not in any way going to take any authority or take any. But she knows that she's not allowed to leave you on your own.
Fair enough.
So she just follows you around. But she will stay. If you tell her to move at a distance, she moves to a distance. She just follows you around and just looks. And she keeps asking you like, should I go and wake the mistress?
No, it's far too late for that. We'll report back in the morning. But just in case, I'm like point her and say, you didn't see me.
Right.
Right.
She's like, I did see you.
Oh yeah. Alright, well. See you then.
And she just follows you like around the house. Like,
I'm leaving. Like I'm going back
where'd
to
you go?
I'm going back to like Tara and everyone.
They were in the house.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
upstairs.
They're like outside his bedchamber where
Well,
they've
I'll
just
just
dropped
sort
him
of
off.
like nod to Tara and just
I'm just lounging in a chair.
Yeah, there's like so many chairs. This is like almost like a very rich Versailles style mansion
Is
kind
there
of
like a
thing.
chaise longue?
Yeah, there's many
I'm going
chaises.
to recline on a chaise longue.
Chaise lounge. Yeah.
Servants.
oh yeah, we're staying here for the night, aren't we?
I assume your masters.
There's like 3 of them. They look like they perhaps like just manage the house at night.
I assume your masters have many guest quarters that would house us for the night.
They nod.
We will bodyguard throughout the night as part of our duty, but we must remain here and work on rotation.
They nod. We have 3 rooms.
3.
Yes. The others are being occupied by the children or by the master's assistants.
Do you want to play a dice game?
No.
I want the pillows.
What's a dice?
Oh, don't worry, it's an old joke.
What's a joke?
Don't lie to us.
No, the one talking to you is just like nothing. Like it's just like don't understand.
Have you come into contact with any necromancers recently?
Yeah, the one.
There are many necromancers in the city.
Who is the one who drives the carriage for your master?
We don't know. He's hired as just a courier, carriage.
I don't
The
know
master
about
contacts
you
him.
fine fellows, but he seemed rather suspicious.
You did, actually.
Everyone is suspicious in this place.
Yep. I pretty much don't trust any.
But the carriage
person.
did disappear.
Sir Knight, should we prepare those rooms?
Yes, please.
They head off.
Do you know if the carriage was set to
They
pick
stop, turn
up?
around.
Was the carriage set to pick up the master at the temple
Yeah.
to bring him home?
Yes, of course.
It was set to pick him up.
It always brings him home.
He probably
It
knew.
didn't bring him home this evening.
There's like just nothing.
Interesting.
Oh, she's
So-
dry.
Go prepare the rooms.
Yeah,
They
maybe we.
turn around and head off.
Wait.
So
Oh,
he was
You kind of
expecting
hear-
him not to make it home tonight.
Ulrich kind of mutters something, but like really faintly under his breath.
Do I notice it?
what was that?
Perception check from Taryn.
Mumble it near all
No.
of us.
No, Ulrich is just like mutters something, but he
Do
doesn't
you
hear it.
Oh, was it not near all of us?
Well, I mean, yeah, you can make perception checks.
Nope.
13.
13.
13.
13. The two of you basically hear him just kind of like, it's kind of like a, that's what this place does to people, or something like that, like kind of some sort of thing.
What was that, Ulrich?
Nothing, mouse.
Thought not.
I coughed.
Whoa.
Oh, that was the spotlight's just blown.
Wow.
Now
And you're in
I am
darkness.
truly in darkness.
Wow.
No parents!
Cool.
No, that's actually like I'm going to be in darkness now. Bob just flew.
Is there anything we can?
No,
Actually not.
No, that's...
just got to hope the other ones don't go now.
Yeah, we should.
One by one.
Yeah, we'll just have to let
Dead
Sam.
reckoning.
We'll have to let Sam and Tom know. Right.
I
So-
am waiting for my room to be prepared for me.
Oh, it doesn't take long. It takes like 20 minutes.
Very well. I am very looking forward to bed.
Is one of you going to remain on guard?
The elf?
What?
Translate?
If you let me rest for a few hours, then I can.
I will take first watch.
I mean, my thinking is that if he didn't expect him to leave the temple, he doesn't necessarily know that he ever left alive. Would his house be under attack as well?
We don't know.
I will keep watch, regardless.
Okay.
So you're going to take watch for 4 hours and then hand over to Malice. Okay. So at 11 p.m. you watch until the early hours. About halfway through your trance, Malice, just about when you two are kind of getting up from a long rest, if you stay in these rooms, you're still sleeping off the last few hours.
Yeah, I'm going to stay in.
The servants kind of appear, and you can see that you're outside a master bedroom, but next to it is another master bedroom, and servants come and go constantly, like these slaves constantly are coming and going. Early in the morning, a Thayan woman, she has half her head shaved, and then half of it has long black hair.
Sounds super cool.
Down the side. She emerges wearing basically nightgown, sort of like night, what are they called? The little dress thing. Nighty thing. Is there a name for it? I can't remember.
Nighty.
She emerges and she's got these very sort of elegant long fingernail painted, and she's already made up to look fabulous. She kind of emerges, sees you, and kind of makes her way over. You are one of the guards that my husband hired, yes?
Indeed.
One
Good
of the
morning.
ones. Good morning.
Sleep well.
I did.
How's
I am
the
unused to you. My apologies. I am unused to you not applying a suffix of my lady or mistress.
Oh, apologies.
No,
my lady.
it is. She waves it for a moment. It's like you are foreigners and you have been hired to perform a service. You are not servants. I must remember this. Please, what happened?
Well, There were two men who tried to assassinate your husband after his worship in the temple.
I told him not to go, as it was something that he was expecting.
Yes, I'm curious as to why he would still go if he was expecting that.
He is... She shakes her head. His devotion to his goddess is frankly ridiculous and insane. He did put his life at risk in sake of worshipping her.
Yes, they specifically targeted him after his worship, when he would be weakest. Tried to put, and did succeed in putting some guards to sleep so that they could approach.
I'm told that the servant said a gnomish fellow with you claimed that one of them escaped and has taken several pieces of jewellery from the house, which I find odd. Why would they... I'm not sure why they would indulge in such activities if they wished him to seem dead.
Personally, I don't know about that. All I know is that your husband was put to sleep and should awake.
He is not awakened yet. I've had an assistant who has some magical training examine him. He expects him to wake up within a few hours.
We would be interested
slumber.
in speaking to him some more,
Of
just
course.
around
Well, we will need to
the circumstance.
ensure that your payment is provided.
Of course, but yes, we're just curious, obviously, being new to the city, trying to make some friends, figure out what's going on. Of course, we want to be aware if there's any threat to our safety too from this.
I do not think you have too much to worry. I have been through a few husbands now. These events are quite common here in Thay. The men tend to... They are not very subtle in their machinations and their plans. When they make rivals, they spit and snarl and ball their fists at each other. They are unfortunately very prone to aggravating their enemies rather than dealing with them properly.
Interesting.
At the moment. Are we still asleep?
You two are pretty much just waking up, lavish beds, that sort of thing. You can head out. This is a conversation happening out in the hallway, basically.
That's fair enough.
You probably would emerge and you would hear Malice talking to someone.
So it's normal then for...
Assassinations are quite common in Thay, yes. Generally they are... It is used as a last resort of the desperate, however. People that have run out of options.
Yes, do you know what was the ring?
I'm surprised. You are a drow, are you not?
Half.
My apologies. We do not see many elf types here. I was led to believe by my studies that the drow people were very aware of assassinations and these sort of machinations is very commonplace amongst the houses there.
Let's just say I left the houses a long time ago.
Well, I'm sure that, at least with some of your knowledge and skills, you would prove quite useful to affluent autarchs here in Thay. It may be that there may be potential for you to work more with my husband or myself in the future.
Do you have any needs for mercenaries, any services that we could perhaps require? Of course, we are still new here.
Yes, of course. There are some tasks that I am aware of. No doubt, due to his bragging, you are aware that my husband is cousin with the Tharkioness.
Yes.
A familiar relation he likes to brag, however, he has no real personal connection with her. She is barely aware of his existence. I, on the other hand, enjoy Mariel's company frequently. We dine and converse together. There are some issues that she has told me of in confidence that if you were to assist with, I'm sure she would be looking to reward, but also I will make sure that I speak of your good name with her. What is the name of yourself and your companions?
My name is Malice.
Malice. And the armoured knight that brought my husband home?
Talon.
And what of the others? I know that there is this gnomish fellow, but also an older warrior, an older female warrior that's brought with you.
Yes, Tall Shank, and she calls herself Worthless. Whether that is her real name or
A
not.
very thinly plucked eyebrow is raised at the name. Curious.
She has been through a lot of trouble in her life.
Well, I'm afraid that that is quite common here in Thay. No, Marielle is always looking for interesting people. I know that she has had some concerns of late. I will speak with her. We intend to dine. Oh, by the way, when you guys took a long rest, everybody loses 1 hit point.
Okay.
I forgot that Death Curse.
Do we level up? Pre-boss fight.
It wasn't really a boss fight.
Boss fight.
I'm trying to think of it in terms of accomplishments and stuff.
Do we also keep
You
temp hit
probably
points?
would level up, yes.
Should we do that next time?
I mean, we can do it now while we're
Okay.
talking about stuff, because
Okay.
it's only really like rolling hit points and adding class abilities and stuff, I think.
Level 7.
I've got a spare
Simply-
player's hammock there if you want to start looking through.
Simply passing our names along to the Tharkuness would certainly go a long way with us. We are still trying to
Of course.
make ourselves
No
known.
doubt Doran will be discussing the events.
You can roll. You can take the average.
Yeah, you can take the average because there's 1 or 2.
It's D10 average.
6 or 7, I can't remember.
6.
I will. You seem a trustworthy sort, Malice of the Underdark. The payment you were promised by my husband, how much was it for?
I believe it was maybe, was it 800 gold he promised?
I will see that this is paid. He will
Obviously,
likely.
for the extra transport back, his carriage did not pick up. Were you aware that his carriage did not?
I was told this. I believe I've sent out some of my assistants to inquire. I am particularly interested in information around the city, and so I employ a few gatherers. They have gone to fetch me information, but I have not heard anything back yet. But I will be interested to hear what happened.
Yes, certainly. It seemed like almost as if the carriage driver knew that he would not be returning.
My thoughts
So-
exactly.
We would very much like to know why that was the case, if they had any involvement.
Some of your fellows have awoken. I'm not sure of. You do not. Quite certain if my studies are correct, but if I remember, elves do not sleep as
We-
others do.
Not quite.
Do you not require further rest?
Not today. I have rested enough.
Ah, very well. I will go and fetch payment and also follow up on some of my own investigations. My husband will likely be in a foul mood following the events. He will likely try and claim that you have not provided the services that you promised, but rest assured I will ensure that your payment is done. If he gives you any trouble, simply say that you have spoken to his wife. That should silence him.
Wonderful. Thank you for your time. As I say, if there is anything that the Tharkuness requires service for, then we'd be glad to.
This is good to know. I will ensure that she is informed. I am meeting her for a brunch later, and then I will return. She
Excellent.
bows her head, and she begins making her way off. She heads back into her room, and you can hear the sounds of busyness. Worthless and Tholshank awake.
Tholshank.
They find you.
Hello.
Torbjorn.
So has she left now? Okay. Morning, Malice.
Hello.
Sleep well?
Yes. I actually just had a nice conversation with the lady of the house.
Right, okay. What was she saying? Don't repeat everything.
I will relay that information, but seems like getting to Tharkuness, we already have a good word put in here.
Right, well, that's the top noble right there, isn't it?
Yes. So apparently her husband doesn't actually talk to her. It's the wife that does, so
Oh, well. Let me, did she seem like she had any idea about what was happening last night?
No, but she's poking around the city a little bit now. She knows what happened. She knows what should have gone down with the carriage being there, everything. So she's seeing if it comes to anything.
Alright. And we don't suspect her then?
I don't think so.
Well,
Saying that, she has had several husbands. So.
is payment on the way at least?
Yep.
You've arranged for that?
Yep.
Well, once we get our money, we can leave them to their investigations. Our job's done.
Yep. Sorry.
I'm
guess.
loitering outside the children's bedroom,
What?
just listening.
Creepy.
Why?
Hear sounds of servants getting them dressed, getting them ready. You hear complaints about baths, brushing of hair.
I'm just listening.
Yeah.
It's
Especially
creepy as shit.
if they're getting dressed, I'm not.
Well, you're just loitering in the hallway, I'm guessing. Yeah. Yeah, you can hear like the sounds of it, morning routines.
So yes, it seems like we already have a good word in there, which is great.
Okay, so two of you are conversing out there. Worthless is hanging out there. It's another couple of hours. When you do awaken, you actually, Ulrich has laid out the armor, and you can see he's actually repairing some of it. Like he's actually got a small, he's borrowed them from somewhere, you think. Looks to be like a small pair of pliers, and he's actually banging out some of the dents. He's got a small little piton hammer, but he's kind of mainly using the pliers to kind of like bend things into position.
Hammering. Was he in the same room as me?
It's like a large room. It's
Right.
like separated off to the side. But he's not really hammering, he's more like bending and repairing in general.
Gonna come over and observe his work.
You can see that like the armor has got scuff marks from the blades and things like that. He's buffing those out.
Good man.
It's good work. Like this is a dwarf who knows armor.
You clearly know your armor.
It was something of a passion before I was brought here. It is a fine suit you have. If I'm not mistaken, this is of a knightly order.
Yes.
Military rank.
Yes. Before I died. Did you know I died?
I did not.
I died. Hence this death curse. It's consuming all that got resurrected.
I was not aware of this.
I was part of a religious group called the Order of the Steel Fang.
This is of your god Tempus.
Yes.
I have heard of Tempus. Some of the dwarven warriors back from my home were pledged to him in service.
A fine service indeed. And I was part of an elite unit. The best that Tempus had to offer, in my opinion. But not as good as me. And this group, as we fought, I saw their weaknesses. I saw them fail in their cowardice that ultimately led to my death. They did not stand by my side as I charged the line.
Ulrich looks like he wants to say something and then shuts his mouth.
Speak freely.
I do not think you wish that.
I think I do now.
It is more that in the battle last night, you also charged deep into the fray, and the others fought beside you, but you were targeted by your enemies first because of the threat you posed alone. It may have been the case with your previous comrades, that your prowess led to you to be targeted before the others.
Oh shit.
Oh snap.
I'm just gonna stand. He was kneeling down. I was kneeling down to look at the armor. I'm just gonna stand up and kind of mutter under my breath something, and then walk away
Okay.
from him.
He just puts the armor down now that he's finished working. Starts wiping his hands, cleaning his hands.
Collect some rations from this place before we leave,
Of course.
for all of us.
That was a close shave, I think, for him.
It was. It was.
No, okay.
I'm gonna come downstairs and see where everybody else is.
Okay, you can find everybody but Worthless.
Right.
Morning.
Taryn, how's it going?
Morning.
I saw nothing stirring in my duty guarding him. Did you?
No.
Nothing.
Although his wife knows the Tharkioness and is going to put a good word in. Hey.
Well, he does too.
Yeah, no, apparently he doesn't as well as he says.
Right.
I've got to ask, did anyone else feel really shit last night?
It happens every night, Tolshank.
Yep,
It's only going
I
to get worse.
Definitely feel worse today, so we should keep moving.
Worthless. The children are escorted out of the rooms by servants, slaves, but also some Thayan, look like perhaps assistants or young nobility. They cast you curious glances, but the children are very sort of prim and proper. They have hair, unlike their parents who often shave close, but it's kept very short, like short bobs, very close cropped hair on the boys. And they kind of look at you, but they don't seem to look at you properly. They kind of see you just as a visitor or, somebody who isn't important. And so they're kind of led away. Would you follow them, or what would Worthless probably do?
What colour is their hair?
Black and brown, primarily.
Yeah, I'll follow.
Okay. Yeah, so you just start wandering them around. Like, do you stay at a far distance, or do you follow quite closely behind?
I guess, almost like I'm part of the retinue.
Okay. A couple of the Thayans are like, excuse me, miss, who are you?
Oh, I'm the new nanny.
I've not been informed of this. We've not been told of a change in roles.
Well, lots of things happened last night.
They look around and they're like, we will need to check with the lady of the house if this is to be the case. Why are you wearing armour?
We were hired last night by the master.
As guards, yes, but why would you be brought in as a nanny?
I am here to guard the children as well.
So you're...
An attempt was made on his life. And there are questions that perhaps his family would be attacked too.
Very well. Well, you may follow. We will go and speak with the lady of the house.
My speciality is nursery rhymes.
They look at you. Well, there will be no need for foreign nursery rhymes here. And they begin making their way through the house. Eventually they lead back up to the master's bedroom. And you can see the three of these are kind of stood outside waiting. There's an assistant who is just outside, looks quite wizardy, kind of small glasses, not red robed though, but it's got like books and things like that, and is just coming out of the room as well. And you see Worthless behind a group of servants and the children being led into a...
We good?
Oh
yeah, the shock spreads as well, doesn't it?
We've got Martin's audio coming through, unfortunately, Becky, on the speakers, so that might be a reason why we couldn't hear you.
Oh, weird. Anyway.
But yeah, so you can see that the servants stop outside the Tharkionesses, the Autarchs, the lady of the house's room, and they kind of leave them there. There's three servants with three children. One of them steps inside, and the other two are just sort of discussing with the children about daily occurrences, asking them if they've been practicing their instruments and things like that.
I'd like to point out that the expression on my face looks completely different. I'm completely relaxed. I'm really kind of naturally happy and calm and I'm trying to ask the kids questions as well about what instruments they play.
They kind of are. The kids turn around and answer, "I play the flute," but then the servant is kind of like, "No, don't talk to her. We don't know if what she's doing." And they kind of look round and they kind of nod their heads to the servant who they know familiarly, and then the servants are kind of eyeing you up very strangely.
I'm very
Oh yeah, no, it's just that these are people who are very paranoid people. Go on. Do you want to say
I
something?
was just going to talk to Taryn and Tolshank and say she did this before. Whenever she's near children.
Yes, she'll probably eat them soon.
The doors open. The lady of the house now enters, full kind of noble outfit. You can see she has a very tight dress leading down. She has a shawl over her shoulders, but with a big sort of high collar on her dress and things like that. Long, elegant things. Very baroness looking. She kind of exits. She looks at Worthless quite seriously, and then to Malice. Whispers something to the servant, and then steps forward. The servant is like, "Come on, children, we're going to take you to your lessons now." And then as they start to follow, the Tharkiness holds out a hand in front of Worthless like this, kind of almost stopping you from following.
I'm just gonna like almost bump into it because I'm kind of dreamily looking away.
She kind of holds it out further, and you kind of bump into it, kind of thing. She's like, "Not another step, please." She like drifts her hand, and you watch as the group kind of pass away. She looks round. "Good Lady Malice, please ensure that your fellow guards do not overstep their bounds." And then she begins heading off.
I'm just looking like really confused. Like I'm just
you
really
have to
confused.
leave the children.
I'm gonna look at not the Baroness.
The lady of the house, yeah.
Look at her and then look at the children, like as they're walking
They
off.
basically turn around the corner, yeah.
And I'm just kind of, I look. They're not the right ones anyway.
Okay.
Did you say Tharkiness?
No,
No.
I kept saying that by accident.
Okay.
This is just she's an autarch, but she's a female autarch. So. She kind of turns around, nods to you, and then heads out. After a moment, the doors open, and you can see the autarch kind of standing up. He looks kind of with himself. He's like yawning. He's dressed, and he's like looking around a bit confused. The assistant steps down. He's like, "You may speak with the autarch now."
Right. Let's get our payment.
You! And he kind of gestures. "What happened? What occurred last night? I fell asleep and I woke up here. I've been told that there was an attack. What happened?"
Well, you missed all the fun.
"I don't have time for such remarks, please. A threat was made on my life."
Yes,
Yes.
it was, and you knew very well it was. And we protected you, and you're now safe.
And of that you have my thanks, but what actually occurred?
2 assassins came out of the room adjacent to yours.
His face goes a bit pale.
They were wearing thin, tight leather, covering their faces.
Did they carry the rings? Rings of the goddess Shah?
So you were expecting that?
No, I wasn't expecting it, but it was something I had feared. Clearly, someone has placed a contract with the guild against me.
Nevertheless, they failed.
They did put you to sleep first.
Yes,
That
it
makes
is an ability granted to them. The rings that they wear, along with the pact that they make when they join the guild, gives them certain magical abilities. It is something that the Red Wizards are particularly frustrated by, as many of these assassins are used to kill their own wizards. They have the ability to counter magic as well as to cast it themselves.
Interesting.
What kind of person would hire these kinds of assassins?
Oh, anyone. A rival autarch, a red wizard who thinks that I'm overstepping my bounds, almost anybody.
You don't have any personal vendettas against you
He
of this caliber?
He scoffs. My good man, I'm a very powerful autarch within the city of Byzantur. I control many of the shipping routes in and out of the city. Of course there are many that wish my position. My relationship with the Tharkioness, if nothing else.
You said
You seem-
overstepping your
Yes.
boundaries. Sorry. You said overstepping your boundaries. Have you been doing anything recently that would anger a particular group of people?
You seem to be aware that it would be recently, and it would be tonight that you would need protection. Why is that?
Especially while your bodyguards, your regular bodyguards, have
It was
been-
the fact that, yes, there has been, my wife was concerned, especially with, we had a serious group of guards, but they were recalled to another city on behalf of some orders outside of Byzantur. Matthias had to issue them away, and unfortunately the replacements have been difficult to come by.
Matthias.
The general, yes.
And he's the
Ordered them
man
away.
who would...
No, he had to order them away as he received orders from the capital. Likely from Sastam himself.
Do you not find it convenient that they were
Of course.
ordered away
Of
at the
course.
time that you were...
Well, of course. I mean, clearly, whichever rival has paid for this assassination contract used whatever political affiliations they have to ensure that the capital recalled my guards, of course. In regards to your earlier question, I have various business amongst the city. I'm not sure I wish to go into all of the details, but, I mean, it could be anything. I deal with many trades. I help ferry messages.
It is more the fact that we wish to help and that we do not wish to just slice the heads off of weeds. We wish to take the root
Oh, well, perhaps, yes.
so that no more risks on your life happen.
Good, yes, very good, yes. There is some things which I think could be potentially related. There is a particular red wizard, Callus Thrul.
Callus.
He is I think he is third in line to become Zulkir of Conjuration. He makes his home here in Byzantur. He grew very angry with me recently. Something to do with my trade manifests and certain endeavors of mine to work with some of the independent requisitional experts in the city.
Right. Now we checked the ledgers of the 2 adjacent rooms next to your
Yes.
room in the Temple of Pain, whatever
Yes.
you call it, and we noticed a red wizard was in one of them and suspiciously left just before the attack.
What was their name?
No, it wasn't the same name.
Val-rax.
Val-rax Thrul. That is Callus's daughter.
Well, isn't that convenient?
Why would Callus want me dead? I knew he was upset about me investigating the Enclave, but...
What's happened recently that could potentially cause him to do this?
Well, he's... like so many red wizards, he's eccentric and paranoid. Being third in line to become Zulkir, he is very soon going to obtain significant amount of power. Currently, he still is technically underneath the Tharkiones's rule. If he becomes a Zulkir, he will become basically in control of the city.
So you think you are a threat to his line?
Well, I recently... Marial, she's my cousin, but she's particularly good friends with my wife, the Tharkioness. She asked me, she knew that I had some contacts with requisitional experts, mercenaries that obtain things when you need them.
Please go on.
I hired them. She wanted me to contact them to investigate an enclave, a Red Wizard's training facility just outside of the city.
Why?
I don't know. I put her in touch with the group, but then I never heard from them. And then a few days later, my guards were recalled, and I had some angry messages from Callus, as long as some other autarchs.
It's all very interesting, and it seems like we have a good lead. How would we get closer to him?
Callus, you will need to... Well, you would need to do work for the Red... I mean, none of you appear to be magicians. I imagine that there is little you can offer him that he would not already possess. He has mercenaries, he has the military at his disposal if he requires it. You would need to do something of some substantiality. I'm afraid that I can put you in touch with a Tharkioness, or rather, my wife is perhaps better suited to do so. But Callus, I'm afraid, is beyond my means.
The Tharkioness may be a good first step.
She is in charge of the city, and she was the one who originally asked me to investigate this enclave.
Indeed, and we will ask her about Callus if your wife can set us up with a meeting.
I am almost certain that she will be able to, yes.
She's having lunch, apparently. I'm sure that you would be able to, however. She's going there first.
Yes, she is. They are on more familial terms. Mine is a family relation. Theirs is one of personal interests they share.
She did say that she would put in a good word for us after.
Good. Yes, well, I'm unused to dealing with foreigners who are so forthright in their assistance. I expected more blackmail and bribery.
Don't get me wrong, we want something.
Well, you will be paid, of course, for your
Well, we have
performance.
reasons to be here, as anyone else. None of it involve your personal matters.
It's more information.
Well, it seems to be that, well, on the hope that your personal matters cross the paths of my personal
They're
problems.
very much aligning.
Then you resolving your problems will solve me of mine.
Indeed.
On our journeys, we have found ourselves to be accidental heroes, so we might solve your problems just along the way.
Well, I would be most gracious, and I can ensure some payments in response if you are to solve this. I believe that my wife has organised some funds from our treasury. I will have an assistant bring them to you when you leave.
Thank you. Pass them to my slave.
Of course. Yes, quite worrying. Quite worrying. I will be remaining inside where we may have our undead guards protect us.
You may want to, step up your security.
Well, the undead, if you are saying that if it is indeed the assassins of Shah, then their magic will be somewhat useless. The sleep spells that they can utilise do not work against the undead and such things.
Well,
and their loyalty cannot be bought.
Nudge Malice in the side. Necromancer.
Oh yeah, your carriage driver.
Yes.
He did not show up at the end of your worship to take you home.
I see.
Do you know where you hired him from, or who he is?
They are a regular service amongst the city, especially in the evening times for the autarchs. He is not unique in that regard.
Do you usually have the same carriage
They
driver?
normally work for portions of the military. They normally work as watchmen in the evenings as well. They supplement their income.
Would he be under the control of Matthias in that case?
If he was indeed a member of the military, yes.
Right.
he could be.
But that is concerning. Matthias would be distraught to hear that one of his own people were working to attack members of the nobility.
There could be corruption in his workforce.
Oh, you do not know Matthias Frostwind. He does not stand for such matters.
Then is
He
that
would
not more
weep
terrifying?
No. Matthias is. He is what Thay requires. He is brutal but efficient.
Then
He
what
ensures.
reason would this carriage driver not be there for your exit?
I do not know. Perhaps he was killed.
And his carriage taken?
Perhaps they thought. From the sounds of it, these assassins struck when they did not think that I would have mercenaries of such capability as you. Perhaps they thought that I might, if I did manage to flee, I would flee to the carriage.
We'll try and trace it.
Yes, by all means.
All right.
Should we make our way?
Yes, we'll just.
It is a rare thing for me to offer thanks. Often I am used to dealing with incompetence or subservience that is not backed by skill and aptitude. You do have my gratitude. I will ensure that there is additional payment set aside for you as well. I've heard also, my servants have told me that one of the assassins broke free and broke into my home. Do you have any information about this? Why would they not try and strike me in the house?
Tall.
We believe that you weren't in your house at the time. This was as we were carrying you back ourselves. So, maybe he just took off with what he could find.
Unusual. The guild does not normally require gold. They are very well funded.
Could just be a particularly greedy assassin.
I will make sure that my locks are changed.
It's for the best.
Curious. I wonder. I am concerned that more foul deeds are afoot. That they took them to perhaps implicate me in some sort of scheme or such.
Potentially. Putting your jewels in other hands.
It is only the lock case that contained what I was wearing before we left. My
so
other
you have
valuables are
more?
safe. Of course, yes. It was only that case is more for things that I must immediately rid myself of before I leave. I do not tend to carry my valuables out into the city. You have no doubt seen what the outer city is like, full of slaves and beggars.
Oh, it's awful.
Disgusting.
This jewellery that went missing, is it easily traceable back to you?
They are family rings. They would be likely traceable, yes.
Okay, fair enough.
My family is a long-running one. As I said, I have ties to the Tharkioness. Many of the guilds and gangs within the town work for her. If any of them were to receive it as payment, I'm sure they will be able to track down whoever sells them.
Very well.
Very well. He bows his head and gestures out of his ring.
Yeah.
Okay.
As in, go away.
To go look for the person that's got our money.
They are standing right by the front door.
Excellent.
And they
It is
have.
a small box. It's like a small chest, like ivory, kind of bone, inlaid with gemstones and gold. The chest itself looks like it's worth about 100 gold.
Toll, can you price this all up? See what we're dealing with here?
Yeah, so 100 gold box.
100 gold box. Inside, there is kind of solid gold kind of, not bars, but like cylinders worth about 200 gold each, and there's 4 of them.
Well, there's 800 gold here and the box itself. Between the 3 of us, the ones who took the contract, it's, how much is that?
Just split it 4 ways. Easier.
I mean, you've got the contract, read it.
Yes, but also worthless. Did save
Well,
his
whatever
butt.
bonus payments we get, as he promised, I heard that bit.
The box is offered as bonus payments.
Fine, there we go. She can take the 100, 800 split between 3. That sound good to you?
I'm looking at the contract and I'm like, says 500 there.
Yeah, I'm...
Crazy I may be, but I can read.
Still doesn't say your name on it, though.
I will take the extra 300 in the box, since you agreed to 500.
I will take one of the 200 bars and then leave it at that.
I'm taking 2 of the 200 bar cylinders.
How? How are you taking it?
I think I've got the box.
He
Haven't I?
does have the box.
2 of them. And then I'm getting the other 200 to Taryn. The box is going to you. Now this other 200
Wait, so you've got 400?
I've got 400. Easily makes up for Taryn's miserable defeat against that champion of Tempest.
You
I
gambled
lost
your
a lot
own
of
money,
money.
not the money we've earned.
We've
Do you want to gamble with your life?
earned as
We
a
are
crew.
currently, by the way, just to remind you, gambling with every one of our lives because we're not getting a move on and we're dying.
Look, if anyone can figure out how to split this gold cylinder, then by all means. Until then,
It's a problem for later.
I'll make sure Ulrich can separate it. He's very handy.
I've already pocketed 2 of the
If I can find some forged supplies, I could likely split it.
Low priority at the moment, to be honest.
It is quite soft gold. It would not take much.
Dying!
Low priority.
Dying.
I'll take 2 of the cylinders.
I've taken 200 that you gave me, and I'm going to deal with that problem later. As in Tolsha ain't going to kill him.
Extra 400
This is a party problem.
Yeah.
The DM is not involved.
Sounds funny.
You have a 100 gold chest.
It's fine, I was going to go for that anyway. Yeah, I'm just putting some little trinkets in it.
Little tiny like rat tails and
Bits.
toys.
Pocket fluff.
Okay.
Pocket fluff.
So,
What do you guys want to do?
plenty of leads.
Yeah.
Early morning.
Now, my worry is that the carriage driver necromancer may have just fled the scene. If he saw a fight going on the inside and plenty of assassins entering the place, he could have just fled. It might be a red herring.
It was a
But-
20 to 30 minute walk back to the temple, was it not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could see if the carriage track marks are still there and see where they lead.
Could do. Matthias is particularly interesting to me right now since he controls the military, though he did receive orders from someone else. We could find out where he got
True.
those orders from.
I think we should aim to come back here at some point, either tonight or tomorrow,
For the Tharkiness?
for the Tharkiness.
Yes. So maybe we trace the carriage whereabouts. Maybe check with Matthias, if we can.
And also try and find out as much as we can about Callus as well while we're at it.
Yeah.
While they're all wibbling on what to do, can I look around and see if I see any sight of Val-rax?
Oh.
Val-rax. Or her little
The sun
invisi-
elf.
You can make a perception check.
Oh, yeah,
Perception or my hunter's name?
This is perception, really.
She did say she was
Hunter's
gonna
Bane was
contact
more that
us.
you became aware of them and could follow them.
9.
9. You don't see them.
Do we see the carriage marks outside this townhouse?
So you
from last night?
goes from no. I mean it's heavy flagstone. It's not like
Oh, okay.
very trackable. Like you need
Is
to
it
be a
flagstone
very
the whole
skilled.
way?
Pretty the whole inner city is very well kept and maintained. You need to be a very good tracker to be able to follow like the splinters left by the wooden wheels and stuff.
Do we
But
know
you guys
where
can
the
make your way
carriages
back to the
go from?
temple.
Do we know where the carriages are, like, that are hired go
You
from?
do not.
I feel like Matthias might be the only one.
I'm
We can't
proficient
talk
in-
to Matthias.
You can
He's
try.
higher up.
You can try. Yeah, by all means, you can try. it's just very hard. Like tracking anything on like stone floor is pretty hard.
Oh,
that
it
was
was almost
almost-
a natural 20. 18.
Fine, let me try.
18. It's difficult to say. Like there is definitely some wear and tear in like the flagstones where like carriages come and go, but it very quickly gets lost out on the main plazas. There's no real way to identify which one was the one you were on. They all seem to go all across the city and stuff like that, so it's hard to tell. During the day, you see them being pulled by human slaves, or like orc slaves, pulling them around, and in the evening they seem to be replaced by the undead.
That's the best thing about nighttime is the undead. They aren't witnesses. So maybe there's someone in the temple that saw what happened before they were cast to sleep. Let's find out.
As well.
I'm gonna go inside.
You gonna make your way back to the temple?
I think we were heading
There anyway. So when you get there, you start asking around. There wasn't really any witnesses. They remember the sound of. They remember speaking to like some various people there, the priestesses and stuff like that, the priests. They remember there being some sounds, but they were so distracted by what was happening inside that a lot of them didn't pay that much attention. All they remember is looking out and the carriage wasn't there.
It's already
anymore.
gone, so it was very quick.
Following up on those investigations, like you kind of head outside and you do begin to see a bit of a crowd gathered a couple of streets away. And when you investigate it, you see an overturned carriage that's being basically turned up and carted away by the city watch, of which there are 2 humans and 4 gnolls. And you see the body of the goateed necromancer, and the gnolls are throwing it around to each other, basically. Like, you catch him, ha-ha! Like these guard gnolls are literally throwing the body around.
Well.
You can see, like, it has various puncture wounds, and it's just being thrown around, basically.
They found a toy.
I think that's quite a literal dead end.
One of them literally grabs it and, like, swings it around his head, like, look at him, he's dancing!
So much for him being part of the problem.
Well, that solves that then,
That
yeah.
toy looks fun.
To Matthias?
No.
I mean, Matthias now contains only one question that we need to ask him, and that's the person who gave him the order to get rid of his bodyguards.
It's true, but getting to Matthias, as we know, is not easy.
He is the general.
But
He
we
is
do have
higher
the
up.
Farkiness favour.
Well,
also
yeah,
have-
but we have not spoken to her yet.
You have some of the jewellery. Maybe a ring would...
I also can disguise myself.
I don't think you should try and get on the wrong side of a vampire who is the general of an entire army.
Apparently nice guy, that's what everyone was saying.
That's what
If
I've heard.
you
Well,
don't fuck
We're
with
nice
him-
people. He'll get along with us famously.
What else are we gonna do?
It's either that or we wait until tomorrow.
Or we go about one of these other tasks that we were given by the
Which was...
guild.
Oh, well...
Actually, we should probably head back to the guild, report in.
I mean, we could do the thieves'
completed our
cash to
task.
get on board with the military, which would then get us to Matthias.
That's true.
The what? Sorry?
So there was a quest for the thieves' cash.
Sure.
Just
Let's just
I like
complete
how
them all.
that's your
That's his
note.
notes.
Thieves' cash.
That's all it
The
says.
Kynan 12.
The Kynan 12. I got that written down.
Kynan 12.
Where do we even begin with that?
We should go to the guild, report that we have successfully
And now,
completed
yeah.
their task. It was a trial. They didn't trust us. Maybe now they will. Maybe
now
that'll
we
get
are
us somewhere.
seeking the 12.
Well, I don't think we're going to solve this one in a night time. It's tomorrow that we're going to see the fucking ass.
I think we go to the guild, prove that we're worthy there, and maybe there's some more people that we can
Maybe they'll have
talk
some way of getting us in contact with Matthias.
Might be-
Furthering our investigation into this particular contract.
Can I keep looking around for Val-rax? Like just
I'm guessing that you're just keeping a constant eye out for her.
yeah,
You haven't
because
seen
I'm
her.
kind of like
I will tell you if
Looking forward
you
to
see
seeing
it.
her.
I will tell you if you see it.
On that note though, can I like take some bread out of my pocket and just like I'm holding it out, like trying to attract.
Expecting the little invisible
Yeah.
friends. Yeah, none of them take it.
What is
You're like
worth
offering
us
it out every
doing?
now and then.
And
No takers.
nothing.
Not yet.
Okay, and I don't sense anything.
No, not yet. I mean, you don't know. The last time you heard it laugh and then it scampered away.
Worthless. Why are you feeding the ground bread?
I'm trying to find the little invisible men.
Of course, they're all around you.
Well, not all around me. There were 3,
Yes? And they love bread, do
and
they?
then there were 1.
Right.
I don't know if now there are none.
Are you with us
Yes.
on this plane of existence?
Yes.
I think if the invisible men were here, they would have taken the bread by now. Maybe you should just keep
Why
it for
are
later.
you humouring her? There's no invisible men.
Listen,
There are. They cleaned my armor.
Taryn, we know she works in mysterious ways.
They repaired my robe. They're a lot nicer than you.
That's what the Sun Elf did that.
Yes, with the little invisible men.
Taryn does not believe that.
Yeah, that's fine. Taryn doesn't
Any
have
of
to
us
believe it.
believe it.
I mean, I don't believe it, but I'm just letting her do it because I know.
Listen,
letting her
these
do
two are
it.
humouring her. You're just like,
I'm not humouring her. I know that whatever she's doing eventually will come to some sort
Something,
of result.
but maybe not
I don't
the thing
know-
she says,
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know how it's going to happen or when it's going to happen.
okay.
Keeping her distracted is probably the best thing.
What do you
And
guys
she
want to
seems to
do?
be enjoying herself.
What do you guys want to do?
We
Oh, okay.
are
let this
going to
carry
the
on.
Guild of Foreign Affairs to report in that we have successfully bodyguarded one of their tasks that they asked for.
Why are you talking to me like an idiot?
Why are you talking to me like an idiot?
Ah, you're normal now then.
Normal means not having invisible friends that you feed bread. That's normal to me.
But they are, well, they are not here now.
No, of course
I'm just
not.
back to mumbling, like, you know.
Mumbly, like, oh, where are my little friends?
Alright, I'm going to start walking towards the Guild
Yeah,
of
walk
Foreign Affairs.
You guys make your
Assuming
way.
that Worthless is going to make a way of it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you
You
just
can
make
just
your-
hear me going like, Mr. Chuckles,
Yeah.
Mr. Chuckles.
You make your way there. Worthless does draw a few eyes, but nothing too serious. Now that she's cleaned up, she doesn't look so suspicious. She just looks crazy. And they're used to crazy. You make your way to the guild. Again, it's quite open. You make your way inside during the day. You can see dot workers coming in too. You see the scribe at the front. He's like, "Ah, hello again. Do you wish to speak with the mistress?"
Yes,
Please. Yes. We have good news.
Fina Talis.
He's like, takes a few notes. Now, you do have a new companion with you. If I may, good lady, what is your name?
Are you Mr. Chuckles?
I am not. What is her name?
Worthless.
He writes
her
down a few
name?
notes.
It's
Very
Worthless.
well. If you would wait just inside, and I'll go and fetch my lady.
Thank you.
Heads inside. You're left in a little kind of little lobby area with some fresh water.
Ulrich. Man stool.
No.
Man, stool.
Footstool.
I do not have a stool.
You don't.
I have not.
You are one.
No.
I'm going to have to jump in on that one actually.
No.
Taryn, that's a little rude.
It was a joke. Right? I slap him on the back. Way too hard.
I mean, you slap him hard, but he's a dwarf, so he doesn't go that far. He's just like. He just bows his head.
He's great, isn't he?
You're not.
After a few moments, the scribe comes back. What was her name? Talis,
Fina
Lady
Talis.
Talis will happily see you. Come with me.
It's
Heads
good that she
inside.
has such flexible timing.
She has made time for you.
Great.
Didn't she have some sort of magic stuff when we were there last time? I don't remember, so carry on.
You head inside into a lovely little office that you remember with the paintings on the side,
The
window
corridors
overlooking
and
the
shit.
doors, yeah, with loads of corridors that are very tightly compacted. You're led down them and led into her office with a window that looks out onto the docks, beautiful sculptures and that sort of thing, and she kind of welcomes, she's like, "Oh, welcome, please take a seat." How did the work with the autarch go? I heard that there was some commotion at the Temple of Pain.
Well,
Quite interesting. That temple in itself is a strange thing, but
It's
yes.
perhaps strange, yes, for those who are not familiar with Thay.
We were successful.
Good. You have received your payment, I take it?
Yes.
Good. Well, I am very pleased. I spoke with Lady Markal this morning. She told me of your work, so I was already aware. But excellent work. As always, the guild has several other jobs if you are interested. We're always looking for competent warriors and bodyguards, mercenaries, that sort of thing.
Well, we've got. I understand we've got a couple of jobs that we could take up with the military, things like that. Is there any way you can just give us a quick word with Matthias? We'd like to speak to him.
Oh, I'm afraid that the general is far beyond my means. He is a busy man after all. The garrison here is nearly 6,000 strong. He has a lot of work to do, ensuring he also coordinates with the other generals for the matters of national defence. There are perhaps some of his sub-commanders I can speak with, but it will be difficult for you to meet with the general himself, I'm afraid.
Is there anything we can accomplish?
Unless you happen to be offering up any blood. There's always people. He's always looking for fresh, offered freely blood.
I look at Ulrich.
I look at Worthless.
Don't.
Fair.
I mean,
Yeah.
you're always like cutting yourself.
Cut myself.
and stuff, so.
Yeah.
Unfortunately not.
A bit more difficult then, I'm afraid. Obviously, he can only work at night, so he must coordinate quite well.
Is there nothing we can do to get his attention?
Oh, by all means. I'm sure that if you were to assist with matters of the city's defence, involving crime or dealing with threats out on the surrounding lands, the general would be easier to reach, shall we put it.
You did say there was a job involving the Kynan 12.
Yes, they're a gang, quite the thorn in the side, really, been causing a few problems here and there. Basically, a shipment of magical weapons and armour was taken from one of our warehouses. We believe it to be this group, this gang. We don't just want to kill them, however. An example needs to be made. We need people to locate them, pretend to be a buyer, and then inform the military of what's happening and arrange a meeting place, and basically spring a trap on them so we can capture them alive. Other matters,
like your kind of job.
other matters that might need involving. There is still the problem with monsters out on the escarpment causing problems, killing slaves.
I mean, turning them to stone.
Yes, the basilisks.
That was something the Red Wizards would be favourable for, I remember.
Well, the Red Wizards want to get fresh supplies for their magical experiments. The military is concerned with attacks on patrols and slave encampments and farms.
It would help both, it seems.
Yes, it would.
So,
But it's also possibly the more dangerous. The basilisks are a very dangerous creature.
And it's outside the city.
It is.
Right, nothing we can accomplish in one day.
Well, depends on how effective you are, surely.
It seems like our best lead.
what time is it?
It's early morning, like 10, 11.
We might be able to.
Squeeze in the Kynan 12.
Yeah.
If you can locate them.
Is there any information as to where they've been doing?
Unfortunately not. They used to operate in the outer city, but since the theft of the shipment, they have somewhat vanished, proving tricky to obtain. We suspect that they will be hiding somewhere in the city, although we have searched all of the areas that we know best and have been unable to locate them.
Have you searched the sewers?
We've searched the sewers, yes.
Do the Thieves Guilds here communicate with symbols or anything like that?
They do, but the problem is that you are not just talking about Thieves Guild. There are no Thieves Guilds, of course, you understand. There are gangs, and then you have independent acquisition experts. The independent experts work with the Tharkianes and myself, and we have our slang terms that we like to communicate in. And then you have the gangs. They are not honourable sorts. They just do what they wish. They also have their own terminologies.
And the Kynan 12 are not under your control, I suppose.
Well, we would not wish to work with such flagrant individuals who disregard the respected traditions of Thay.
Anarchists. Rebels.
Well, if you're up for it.
There's no leads whatsoever. We don't know where they are, how to find them.
This is why we need third parties to come in and investigate.
Tall, I hope you're everything you claim yourself to be.
Well, I mean, if we can do it today, Great. We have to do something until tomorrow anyway, don't we?
I suppose so. We
So
will
they're
try.
selling
You mean you
magic
don't wish
items.
to enjoy the wonderful sights of Thay? I mean, you could go for a lovely bath in one of the public baths. There's food, wonderful sculpture and art to witness.
Well,
You could easily spend a day
sounds-
here in Byzantium.
That sounds just... Would you want us to do... As players, would you want us to do this? Or would you want us to carry on?
I am not responding to that question.
That sounds awful. I think we should do quest number 3, as I've written in my notebook.
You guys can do whatever you want to do.
While all this conversation is going on, I'm just wandering around her room, just like kind of just poking stuff and just picking stuff up.
As long as you don't show any signs that you're going to break it, she just watches you like with the corner of an eye, like
Just kind
a
of
flick.
shaking things a little bit.
She just like watches you,
lick
goes back
something.
to the conversation, watches you, goes back to the conversation.
Do I find anything interesting?
No. It's all
Nothing.
like, it's almost, everything's deliberately placed. Like the art is interesting but ultimately bland and non-offensive. Like none of it could be used as a weapon.
Like IKEA prints.
It's that and like a weird sculpture that's made from like very brittle kind of wood that would easily break and stuff like that. It feels very manufactured, this office. It's a facade. It's fake.
I put stuff back, but like upside down or on its side. And
Yeah, she doesn't say anything. She just kind of lets you place it around, just watching you curiously.
Do I notice that like there's dust, like where I pick it up? So it's
No, it's all wonderfully clean. It's all kept spotlessly clean.
This Guild of Foreign Affairs, how does it earn its coin? Does it take a cut of every
What do you mean?
contract you give out?
Thay does not, Byzantium does not tax its merchants. Merchants are welcome to come and trade here as they see fit.
Right.
They take a certain cut as they come into the city.
No, there is not taxes.
No, they take a certain
they take it
resource
forcibly.
when necessary.
I'm not sure I understand what you're implying.
I think I do. And I think you do.
Are you doing that like Larry David,
am.
like staring at them now? Like,
I am at a loss to what you might be thinking. The city of Byzantium is open to all merchants to come and trade as they see fit. We do not tax any of their shipments. We do not tax any of their
I'm not
trades.
using the word tax.
Well,
I'm
what
saying
else?
you take your fair share.
Well, that is a tax.
I feel like the last time we came here, they said something about.
Yeah, they did. But
I don't think they'd admit it.
Oh, okay.
they don't.
Oh, no, I
but
think
the
it's- yeah,
guards take stuff on the gates as people come into the city.
I'm afraid that the guards are law unto themselves. The guild has no control over guards. That's the military.
Right.
Those terrible gnoll creatures, terrible. They just take what they wish.
Who pays you out of interest?
Who pays me? Oh, I deal in my own trades. I make my own coin. Often organising trade deals and the like. We act as mediators.
So you take a cut of that.
And we also offer protection services to the merchants who come and go. We make sure that they are protected from these rebels, these gangs.
And you make it very clear to them the threats on their lives and their resources.
I think that is very obvious to anyone who comes to Thay.
Do you have interest? Do you organise the trouble on the opposite side of that protection?
My good man, what are you suggesting?
Listen, it's all fair game. I'm just curious.
By all means, it is not fair game. No. The Tharkianess would never stand for such matters. No, of course, any merchants that come and are members of the guild are highly protected. We ensure that their trades are protected by all means and that they are free to go about their business as they see fit. Whatever befalls them in the city if they are not a member of the guild, I'm afraid that is their problem and nothing to do with us.
So long as they're a member of the guild,
Why, of course.
they are treated with respect.
Well, we only have finite resources.
And the
How
ones
can we
that
offer?
don't disappear.
Well, the other ones that don't are on their own, aren't they? It's a dangerous city.
Someone has to
If
claim.
if they're not willing to pay for our services of guards and things like that, I can't be held responsible for what might happen to them.
I'm gonna like, look at her like,
Frankly, I'm at a loss to what you're suggesting.
it's okay, we get it.
I don't think there's anything to get. Yes, it's all quite fair.
We're going to find the Kynan 12
Good.
and set up this false meeting
Good.
We will send word once we have a place and a time.
You may send word to either myself here, or if you contact any of the human guards, they should be able to ensure that a strike force is assembled.
It will need to be quick,
Of course.
before they get suspicious.
Right, so where do we begin?
I think leaving my office sounds like a reasonable idea.
I'd love to do that. And I'm gonna leave.
Okay.
Yeah, while that kind of last bit's going on, I'm just gonna absentmindedly put something in my pocket, like just not even like trying to steal it. I'm just kind of, absentmindedly put an ornament in my pocket.
Didn't even realise you'd done it.
It's like
And
a
then-
seashell and like a little
Yeah.
wooden plaque. You just pop it in your pocket.
And I'm just gonna,
She sees you take it, says nothing.
I'm just gonna put like a random stone from my pocket back.
Mm-hmm.
Just a stone.
Yeah, there's no reaction.
Or you're swapping it
Yeah.
for a stone. Okay. Ulrich, come on.
Let's go.
Bows his head. You guys make your way out.
Piggyback.
When you
No.
leave the Guild of Foreign Affairs, Worthless, do you still have the bread in your pockets? You feel a little hand going in your pocket, like tapping your pocket.
Mr. Chuckles is here.
Sure, let's keep going.
To the warehouse then,
Can
I
I
suppose.
do a check as to like where he is? Or I guess
I mean, you
feel
can
the-
feel like a little padding on the thing.
Yeah.
As you're making your way out, you see sat on a kind of short wall, looking at the Guild of Foreign Affairs as you're leaving, is the robed woman that Worthless arrived with.
So I'm gonna kneel down and get some bread out.
Okay, you hold it out.
Yeah.
Doesn't take it, but then eventually it just kind of levitates out of your hand, levitates over, and then vanishes.
Okay.
Did we see that?
Can I see if I saw it? I want to see.
You probably wouldn't even be looking because you walked away. You were dismissive. You can make a perception check, and you can make a
I'm
perception
looking
check.
straight at Val-rax.
Okay, so yeah,
Oh yeah.
17. You see just this little bit of bread in Malice's hand rise up and then vanish.
Worthless.
Worthless. What did I say?
Malice. I'm gonna
Sure.
kind of reach out vaguely and just like
There's nothing there.
pat. I'm just gonna
Nothing
no.
there. Just like trying to find him.
Just
Gone.
gonna give him a little pat.
Yeah, no, he's don't touch
Am I
anything.
still like?
I'm not going to say anything.
Okay. In
Yes,
that
you are.
case, I want to walk over to her,
Okay.
and I will greet her and say, "You said you were going to contact us after we made a few friends, and I believe we've done that."
Absolutely. Why do you think I'm here, my dear fellow? And she looks at you quite gazedly, and her eyes shimmer, and you just feel all those. You'd kind of forgotten about her, but as soon as you see her, all of these feelings come rushing back, and you're
How
just
can I
like,
forget you?
you're so happy, and you just know that this is it. You can trust her.
I almost died last night.
Terrible. I'd heard that there was some manners. No doubt a strong fellow like yourself was
Yeah.
straight to the rescue.
And
And
starts like twisting my foot around.
it's just like, she looks over and she's like, this must be your armoured friend.
Oh, yes. Hello.
Hello.
This is a Terran Newgard.
What have you done to Worthless?
Loyal Knight of Tempus, I believe. Is that right? Judging by your holy symbol there.
Yes.
I heard that there was some commotion at the Temple of Tempus. Somebody challenged the priestess. Quite the bold statement.
Yes, I think she was impressed with my skills.
Oh, as she should be. Clearly a powerful warrior.
What are you trying to say? And what are you trying to get?
Well, I believe what I'm trying to say is a compliment to you on your martial skills. What I'm trying to get is I'm trying to... Well, I've been doing some investigating, and I know a few things about what you're up to, and I think I can help, and I want to help.
Hi, by the way. Hi. Yeah, I'm here too. Hi.
Well, you were looking at Mr. Invisible Man, so I figured that you hadn't followed over yet.
I'm getting-
She looks over and she bows her head, and she's like, hello.
I'm gonna kind of, because like now that I've seen, I'm just gonna bound over and be like, Valak, and just like,
Yeah, she taps you on the back and things like that and smiles, and it's just like, hello again, Worthless.
I'm
Why
getting.
do you know what we've been doing?
I have a lot of friends in the city. They keep an eye on things for me. Mainly because I'm here investigating something myself, and I think our purposes align.
Val-rax is Worthless's friend.
Mine. Have you? I'm getting annoyed that she's paying so much attention to everyone else and really charged.
Stepping.
Have you seen my crossbow?
It's been marvellous.
Yeah, it's great.
You're quite an intelligent fellow. Now, tell me, have you, and she looks at you, and then she looks at the others, the rest, you've had some dealings with the autarchs, yes?
Yes.
You've made friends with somebody close to the Tharkionis. Do you plan on trying to meet with her?
I'm gonna insight him first.
Yeah, can we tell that? Because the way he's
He's acting
reacting
weird.
very weird.
He's acting weird.
We
16.
I mean, he seems completely infatuated with her. Like, he's like literally like puppy dog eyes.
Drooling.
Like, yeah, he's just like lusting in a way.
So I'm not even going to begin to lie to her. We plan on meeting her tomorrow, in fact.
15.
Good. That's really good. I think that the Tharkiones or the Red Wizards are up to something, and I think it might be related to a mutual problem we have. And I've not been able to. Unfortunately, the one place I can't get my friends is within her entourage or into any of the Red Wizards' facilities.
Wait, you're suggesting the Tharkiones is working with the Red Wizards?
Well, of course, they run the governments together.
And the threat on her family's life was her fault?
I believe that it is part of a bigger ploy. I believe that it is part... She leans in and whispers, it's not entirely safe to speak here. I do have somewhere safer that we can speak, and I can tell you a bit more about myself, but you will need to trust me somewhat.
I'll trust you as long as my blade.
It's a long blade.
It's not too bad. It's pretty long.
I have...
I got 15 on the insight.
I mean, you see the same thing. He's clearly infatuated with her to an almost kind of lusty teenager degree. Like, look at me, look at me.
We can go back to yours. That sounds great.
Good.
And where would
Why are
yours
you
be?
being so weird?
I
There
just
is a
trust
ship.
her, you know?
There is a ship here on the outer city docks.
Outer city.
Yes, and unfortunately that guild that you've just come from is very controlling of the inner city docks. The outer city docks, I have a ship. It is called... I'm going to find the note.
Is this her safe place?
Yeah.
Cool.
Water.
Where the fuck is it? It's called the Winds of Kalimshan.
Wings or winds?
Winds. The Winds of Kalimshan.
Then please lead the way.
Please follow me. And she steps up, and you can see she moves with quite, natural, graceful mobility.
Being the outer city, how long is it going to take us to get there?
It might take an hour or so. I know a shortcut through the gates. We won't need to worry about passing through there, however.
What choice do we have? Group?
Let's just keep moving.
I'm just looking around for Mr. Chuckles and his friends.
You kind of, you know that they're around.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see if I can like.
You never see them.
Yeah, I'm
They're
treating it
always
like
invisible.
I'm treating it like it's game of hide and seek.
Yeah, like you're trying to see them. Occasionally you might glance over, and because you're a bit more aware, you might occasionally see like a bit of dust being kicked up as one of them moves past or something like that. But you only just glance that because you're aware of what they are. As you guys make your way through, she leads you into a kind of squat, almost like a cemetery building near the walls, the inner walls, of which she leads you round, leads you down into the crypt, pulls apart like a stone wall which leads into a small secret passage. You kind of weaves your way through. She has to get her torch out and she lights the way, and she leads you down dusty kind of catacombs. Some of it's partially flooded, so you end up wading through in your boots, comes up to about sort of ankle height. And then she leads you back up, and you find yourselves in the outer city, exiting from basically a rundown blacksmith that's now abandoned.
Now, what would someone like you require so many secret entrances and exits?
Oh, look at me. The Red Wizards are instantly suspicious. I'm neither Thayan. I'm clearly not an armored warrior, so seeking mercenary work. I'm not...
What are you seeking?
We'll talk about more of that in a moment. And she begins leading you towards the dock side of things. You walk past the Black Embrace, and she leads you along the docks to a very ornate, good-looking ship. It kind of stands out to some of the
Black
others.
Embrace where...
Tombs is tavern.
So pretty close to that.
Yeah. She leads you down the docks to this kind of beautiful-looking ship, of which she heads on up, and then she heads into little stairs that lead down into the decks. And as you follow her down, you can sense that the kind of ship becomes a bit darker. There is almost like an incense smell as well. And she leads you over to a door, like a room that leads into like a quarters. She opens it up, and inside you can see lots of magical paraphernalia. You can see scrolls. You actually see like a raised table engraved with magical symbols, almost like a kind of enchanting table. She also has a symbol of a skull with a wand, or like a wand, a skull-tipped wand. It is like a symbol with a skull-tipped wand on its side. And she pulls her hood down, and her metallic hair kind of spills around her shoulders. Her pale skin with the veins kind of crawling up her neck provides. And she actually takes the robe off, and you can see she wears black leather armor with a skull symbol, and she has a wand with a skull on the tip at her side as well.
I'm going to cast Divine Sense for undead in a 60-foot radius.
Within 60 feet. 60 feet below you, there is definitely a source of undead. In the bottom of the ship.
Not from her.
Not from her.
Can I do a perception check on the kind of air, like her room, just to kind of see any kind of, I don't know, I guess like traps or things like that?
Yeah, perception check.
No. 4.
4. You're like looking around. You're still kind of trying to see if you can find Mr. Chuckles. You actually see the bed. There's like a bed in this room, like a straw kind of bed. You see like the little sheet crumple a little bit as something clearly sits on it.
I'm gonna try and like.
This time you kind of reach out a hand and you just briefly touch sort of a smooth, like a skinless cat's head. You're like, and then it quickly scrambles away.
You deal with the undead.
I do. It's time. I will be honest with you, but you must understand I am here as an ally. Many people do not react to my employer very well because they misunderstand some of his intentions. And she, with a hand, the door closes on its own. My name is Val-rax, as I have told you. That is not my original name. My name is much older, but I've long given up on that life. My lord has asked me to investigate this death curse of which I know the 4 of you are suffering. We unfortunately do not have much more information about it, but my lord is quite furious that a being has conjured this power, and he believes the souls it is claiming are empowering whoever has created it.
Who is your lord?
My lord, and this is where I ask you not to react violently, because I believe that we can help each other, is Orcus. So you can all make religion checks. I don't think you need to, Kristrot.
I'm going to any for Taryn.
I think Taryn would know that name. 7.
What check was it?
Religion.
What's her fate? Worthless have an advantage because she sort of like
Maybe.
tried to learn about death stuff.
Maybe I'll give you the basics. Like, people will have basic knowledge depending on the role, but it's just more if you would know more detailed stuff.
Yeah, I know about it.
What'd you get?
2.
10?
9.
9. You'll know pretty much the same thing on the basic level, but you've probably encountered... You've probably actually fought against or encountered cultists of Orcus before, and you've actually fought them. Orcus is generally known as the Demon Prince of Undeath, a demon lord who sees the realm and the domain of the dead as its to command. It is a demon and so has demonic forces. It is normally portrayed as a giant, rotting, Balor body, Balor body, with a skull ram's head, and has famously been an enemy of many good aligned deities and adventurers, and has caused problems.
Like Lathander.
Lathander would fucking hate Orcus, and many of his paladins fight against worshippers and believers in Orcus.
What about Val-rax?
Val-rax isn't technically a deity.
Not, yeah. He's working his way up
Orcus
there.
would be a rival.
Okay,
It would be a rival. Orcus is not a god, he is a demon prince, which means he's very fucking powerful, like up there, but not quite godhood yet.
So like they're two. two sides of the same coin.
Almost. Orcus would be more powerful than Vel-Sharun. Vel-Sharun was likely just a very powerful lich like Sastam or Acerak.
And he's working his
Orcus
way
is
out,
a little bit higher than that.
Is Tempest good aligned? Or no?
Tempest, I think he's neutral aligned. He cares about battle.
Yeah.
So Tarin is one half of Tempest, but you could play a good version of a Tempest worshipper as well.
Like a battle, yeah, for good reason.
Yeah.
Well,
She watches the four of you. Oh, well, that is less violent than I'm used to.
you realise this group, we've come on our own selfish terms,
Of course.
doing our own selfish deeds. We care about our own lives.
She holds her hands up. Good. This is what I had hoped and why I approached you and why I've been very forthright. My Lord Orcus.
Sorry, how does Ulrich react to that?
Ulrich, eyes wide. Like he's just
Whooping self.
set face, just watching. But he's also playing the role of a slave. Like he's just stood back, looking at her.
Okay.
My Lord Orcus is furious that some other being has created this power. Death is his domain. He wishes to unite all peoples through eternal life. Whoever has done this is trying to ascend to godhood. And that is not something that my Lord Orcus wishes. Another rival against his power is not something he wishes.
Gods. All gods are false. All they let you down.
Indeed.
Has Orcus let you down?
Orcus is not a god. Orcus is more than that. He does not have the indifference that many gods have.
Is there anyone you suspect to be...
Well, what I can tell you is the Tharkioness and the Red Wizard Callus, who is the senior Red Wizard in Byzantur. Callus is up to something. He has an enclave just outside of the city, a small keep along the coast. It's supposed to be used for training young Red Wizards, but it's gone quiet. It has fallen silent over the last few days. What information I had gathered before you arrived in the city was the students there were working on something to do with necromancy, a project. I believe it might be related to this death curse.
What relation is... At what point is Doloran Val-rax? Why would Callus bother to assassinate him?
You assume that Callus is the one that sent those assassins.
Well, his daughter was in the same room, in an adjacent room.
It could very well be. These Red Wizards, family doesn't mean that much to them, neither does loyalty. They are paranoid creatures. They each see themselves as their own god. They cannot be trusted in any way. They seek power above all else.
Are they trying to get rid of anyone that have any inkling as to what's going on?
I believe so. I believe that perhaps if this autarch that you rescued may have stumbled into some information. I'm not quite sure. This is why I wanted to work with the four of you. You have gained access to certain areas that I have struggled to. My lord, many of his servants are not as patient as I am. I have been sent here specifically because of my skill set, but even that has found some limitations. I have forces ready here to move on something if required. If we can believe we can locate the source of this curse, I can certainly muster forces to destroy it. But I can't risk that without knowing for certain.
You wish for us to investigate this Red Wizard training facility?
I think it is very valuable to do so. But more than that, you have made inroads to become friends with the Tharkioness. I think that she might be involved, but perhaps not fully aware of what the Red Wizards are up to.
Why do you not, in that case, trust her?
She controls many of these thieves' guilds or gangs here in the city. You no doubt you've heard the lie that they don't tax merchants, and that's because the thieves are basically allowed to take whatever they wish and the guards do nothing. The Tharkioness cares about coin. If she has been paid sufficiently, I think that she would turn a blind eye to the ambitions of the wizards.
Regardless of what she knew.
Perhaps if she was to be encouraged to betray that loyalty, if her life was endangered, that could sway things. If she is aware of the death curse and its effects, she will know that she cannot be resurrected, as likely she expects to be upon death. And that could be powerful leverage.
Interesting.
You have a way of getting close to her, at least.
So we threaten her with her life and say, if you do not lead us to the information about this facility or what the Red Wizards are up to.
Indeed. Or you could investigate it yourselves and see what you can uncover there.
I think making enemies of the Tharkiness is going to make us very exposed.
Of course, you'll need to be very careful, and there are some ways I can help. I have a lot of spies in the city, people that tell me things. Your friend Worthless has encountered a few of them, but there are several more here that I can utilize as well.
Little invisible men.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, no. I'm talking of spies in the traditional sense. I think Worthless may be a bit confused. I have some magical training. And she conjures an unseen servant which lifts up some objects and begins polishing things. Very different to what she did with you, though. It's a different thing.
Okay. Do I guess, can I see that that's a different thing? Because it's not like tugging on my robe or
Yeah,
anything.
like, this is you've seen this kind of spell. It's kind of a common spell, this unseen servant. Like, it can lift objects and perform medial tasks.
She's trying to dupe Worthless into thinking that's what actually
She's
happened.
talking to Taryn, and she's saying,
I'm just
Trying to dupe me.
she's basically saying no, she doesn't. She thinks that it's invisible people.
Have you got
I'm talking
any,
about spies.
Have you got any invisible creatures? I did think I saw something
Invisible.
earlier.
Some of my agents are magicians. They are capable of casting spells. Some of them would likely know spells such as the
I
invisibility
think
spell,
Worthless
or
is...
able to access certain areas.
I'm just frowning at the thing because I'm just like,
She looks over at Dolshank. I'd be so grateful if you could investigate some of these things.
Of course we will, and obviously you're not under investigation here.
No, of course. We're allies.
We don't need to ask any more questions about these invisible creatures or unseen servants or whatever.
What have
it
you
is.
done to him?
Nothing.
What have you done to him?
No, nothing. We spoke earlier when I returned Worthless.
Yes,
Would
he's acting
I-
very strangely.
Would I,
He's
under
a strange
this,
fellow.
would I... While I'm under this, would I, if anyone is asking about it, would it be something that I try to dissuade them from, or...
In terms of roleplay, Dolshank just
Dolshank.
thinks she's really fucking pretty and thinks
Okay.
she's trustworthy. That's
Fair
it.
Yeah, well, I'll just pretend it's nothing then. We believe that the Tharkiness herself was investigating this enclave, this camp.
Curious.
And as a result...
Who told you this?
the pain
Dolran
man.
Malik, he was investigating it himself, and that's what led to
How
the
curious.
assassins
How
being sent
curious.
after him. So we believe...
Perhaps the Tharkiness is not as blind as I thought she was. She may very well be aware of this Callus's endeavours and is trying to work against him as well.
She may also be aware of the death curse.
Possibly. But I do believe that these Red Wizards, my lord certainly believes Sastam, their leader, this lich, he has attempted to ascend to godhood once before. He used a powerful creature known as an Atrophal to try and become a god himself. Such magic would be connected to this death curse.
I have a tingly feeling that's true. If the Tharkiness is aware, and she knows that we recently killed 2 assassins
Yes.
that were working with the Red Wizards, she knows that we're working against them. And
Well-
we're about to have a meeting with her.
She may try and, if she wishes to keep up the ruse that she is an ally of Callus, she may try and send you off on some sort of red herring to throw him off.
Or put us in danger.
Or put you in danger. She may send you into a terrible battle, or perhaps even tell this Callus of you to throw. These people are very selfish. They won't care about you yourselves. They'll happily use you to throw their investigations off into a different
Then
direction.
is it worth the risk seeing her, or is it worth just going straight to this facility?
We can just go to
How
her
will we
and
get
speak
into
to her.
the facility?
Well, we can just go
Well,
there.
the Red
Yeah.
Wizards are. These facilities are a way for their spellcasters to train. I imagine that it will not simply be a case of walking through a gate. There will likely be magical ways of entry, which you may need to come up with ways around.
I say we just
I
meet
have
with
a few
Arcanus.
scrolls I can lend you, but
We threaten her. We try and get her on her own.
Well, we're going to meet her anyway as part of this previous engagement with Malik, so
We just assume that she knows everything about us and that she's against us.
Yeah.
But we do not give her any suspicion.
but
That
we
we know.
also know from Malik that she was investigating the it's just part of our investigation.
True.
Trust
She probably
no
knows
one,
we're gonna
trust
ask her.
no one.
you are quite right.
Yes,
Worthless.
worthless.
Trust no Autops, trust no Red Wizards,
Trust no one.
trust no Shinies.
I don't know what you're talking about, Katie.
Well, I can think of one person we can trust.
She just bats her golden eyes.
Can we do a little insight on that?
Yeah.
Do a lot of insight. Uh-oh.
No.
That's a little.
7.
We'll meet with the Tharkianess and go from there.
Very well.
We will.
Whatever you decide, I'm sure will be the best option, but I wish to just make you aware of some of these plans. I do believe that ultimately our investigations are leading us down similar paths, and I wish to be a help.
Given what she said about Orcus and him being a demon prince, and then my earlier kind of Hunter's Bane, kind of narrowing it to fiends, can I put 2 and 2 together in my
Probably
crazy
some
brain?
quasits.
Quasits, okay. And then I can get advantage on intelligence checks to recall information on them.
I mean, basically, you would know. You'd pretty much know most things. They're small demons. They can turn invisible. They're normally seen. They're normally sent as assistants or advisors to more powerful demons.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Does that mean she is?
You don't know. You just know that quasits are often spies and infiltrators and sent
If
to assist them.
Why don't you ask her?
If I
Are you a
can I
quasit?
check her to see if she's?
It's time to come out
Do
of the
you have an
closet.
ability to do
Well,
that?
it just says Hunter's Bane, so it says to track.
Yeah. Well, tracking's not knowing if somebody is a thing.
But if it triggers, then it kind of leads towards her.
No, it's not a magical ability. It's like you know how to follow demon tracks
Yeah.
really well. It's not. He has the ability to like divine sense things because he's a paladin. That's a different sort of magical ability.
But you can only do undead, right?
Nope.
You can do fiends.
And
I
I've
did undead.
seen you do that before.
Yeah.
I've done divine sense, yeah.
I think it's done it a couple times now.
There's no way of
I can do celestial fiends, undead, consecrated, desecrated.
Well, if there's anything I can help you with, I do have a few scrolls and things like that. And like I said, my main asset is my spies out in the city. I will try and keep an eye on you, and I will try and prevent any ambushes, or if I think that anybody is coming to attack you, I will do my best to come and assist you myself.
If
What
we
are
were,
the scrolls you could assist us with?
She heads over to her collection of papers.
While she's sort of chatting, I kind of go to Taryn, like, listen to me quick. Cast your spell. She is not who she seems.
what?
And she
What's
comes
it-
back.
What's it called?
You wouldn't know the ability. You would just know it's a thing he can do. She comes back. She has 3 scrolls. Scroll of Dispel Magic. A scroll of Levitation. And a scroll of Gaseous Form.
Scroll of Dispel Magic.
Levitate in gaseous form.
What is gaseous form?
You turn into a gas.
I like it.
You can get through like narrow gaps and fly around.
Oh, I
outside.
get it
guessing
around
you
tiny.
Are you-
In my mind, I'm like, I've already done it. She's not undead. But I've
Not undead.
I've not said that to you, and I have no idea.
Are you
about-
looking confused?
I
How are you
should-
reacting? Yeah.
I'm like, obviously.
He just does.
I did a shrug.
Don't be stubborn.
She looks over.
Forms. People have many different forms. Different forms and different faces.
She looks over at Worthless. Smiles.
You should.
Looks over at Malice.
You should.
I should make you aware as well.
Yeah, right.
Malice, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
I have seen some of your. I'm not sure if they are. Are you a full drow?
No.
I have seen some drow in the city. I do not know if you are on good terms with your people.
Definitely not. Is that a recent thing?
They have been coming and going for several weeks whilst I have been here putting my spies in place. I believe that they have dealings with the Tharkioness herself and many of the Autarchs and the Red Wizards.
We're with you.
We've reached the time.
I know.
Okay.
I'm still looking at you like, come on.
I know, but
Sink in.
Karen,
Before you do all leave, I would like to speak with Worthless just briefly. After all, I did find her and bring her to you. There was just something of her past I wanted to assist her with.
Is there anything else you want from me?
She leans over and she kind of leans down and like looks at you. She leans down quite seductively. You've done more than enough, my handsome fellow. But I'm sure you'll do more yet.
I absolutely will. I look forward to helping you.
She like smiles.
You're so weird. You're so weird
He
today.
is a weird.
Is there anything I
weird
can
gnome,
do
yeah.
that would actively counter it, or would you even care to counter it?
At this point, no.
Okay.
Because you're not really aware of the problem.
don't
You're
know.
not really aware of what's
Hey,
happening.
you just think you're in love.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You're just. It's not even like love. You're just like, oh, she's so beautiful. You just want to help her.
Yeah. She's great. I don't know what you're talking about.
Just, I don't know. You're just being a bit weird today, that's all. But yeah, and you, as Taryn says, you are a weird gnome.
Do you want to? What do you guys want to do? You gonna head out?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't get what was
What's
this
this
trying to
going
say.
about?
So I suppose we all leave.
I guess you don't like listen
She
to
like
me
turns to Worthless just as the rest of you leave. Worthless. I mentioned earlier that I think there's a lot my lord could offer you. I know that you've been hurt by figures of power in the past, but death. It's not terrifying. It's not frightening. It can be welcoming as well. There is a certain peace to it. I think you would be able to bring peace to a lot of people if you were to help our Lord. And he is very generous with the powers and the gifts and the help he can offer. I promised you my help, but if you want his, you can meet with him, you can speak with him through me.
But death is a beginning.
Of course, absolutely it is. You can
The
help bring
beginning of
many
a new
people.
cycle.
Of course, you can help bring people to that cycle. But also, knowing the mysteries of death, you can help unlock its secrets through him. Think on it. Speak with me again.
A question,
Of course.
young lady. Before we go further,
Mm-hmm.
you promised to help me find what was lost,
Yes.
what was taken from me.
Yes.
I need proof of trust. What are you?
I am a loyal servant of Orcus. If you are asking what I am not a demon. I am an elf. I have always been an elf.
Your little friends, they only really follow demons.
They follow who their master tells them to follow, and I am a very loyal follower of Orcus.
Tell me your true name and I'll tell you mine.
She thinks for a moment. It has been nearly 400 years. My name is not too dissimilar to the one that you call me. Perhaps after you return from the Enclave.
And then I'm just gonna kind of go back to crazy old lady mode
Okay.
and just be like, chuckles.
Crazy cat ladies from The Simpsons. That is all we have time for today.
Wow.
What an episode of RP goodness. We will be back next Wednesday for more.
To investigate
Dead
the
reckoning.
thieves' cash.
Sure. You guys
You can do that on your own, mate.
You guys want to do that? You can do that.
Yeah.
I love it. That's why I put all these little side quests in there. We'll be back soon. Don't forget, if you'd like to watch more awesome D&D stuff with us, you can go to twitch.tv/yogscast on Sundays, 5 p.m. BST, 9 a.m. PDT.
Yep.
And you can watch our regular homebrew campaign right there,
If you wanna
where
catch
it's a
up.
lot less evil and villainous.
Yeah, if you want to catch up on this series, if you missed some episodes, it's all on the Dungeons and Dragons YouTube channel and right here on Twitch as the VODs.
Right
So,
after it. So if you joined late or you missed part at the start of it, you can watch it
straight away.
right now.
Right, straight away.
Future Kim, tweet it out.
Future Kim, go!
And that is it. I'm going to send this stream out doing my weird goblin dance.
Yeah, that was a particularly weird one.
Bye.
Bye.